Have you ever felt like you're giving everything you've got to your church or your community, and it's just not making a difference? You give, you serve, you show up. But the problem is so huge, your effort feels like one drop of water in a giant desert. And you're left wondering, is this even worth it? Or even crazier, have you ever seen this? You watch a leader, your boss, your manager, a pastor, someone with insane influence, literally block good people from doing good work, all because of their ego. What do you do when one person's obsession with the spotlight threatens to crash the entire mission? When their need for control is killing the whole vibe of a community? And in that insane environment, how can your small, quiet acts of support be the one thing that saves everything from blowing up? Well, this exact drama, this insane clash between quiet support and massive pride. It is one of the shortest, most powerful letters in the entire Bible. The Apostle John, in his final years, is about to expose a church in total crisis. And he tells a story about how tiny, faithful acts of support can literally make or break the work of God. Through 3 different men, we get a crazy, timeless lesson in how the choices we make every single day can either fuel God's mission or literally destroy it from the inside. The personal letter. You can find this story in the tiny one-page book of 3 John. If you blink, you'll literally miss it. This wasn't some huge essay for thousands of people. It was written around AD 85-95. It's a personal, super urgent letter from John, the last living apostle. The final guy who walked with Jesus Christ to a man he loves named Gaius. John is old. He's in the city of Ephesus, and he gets word that a church is in meltdown mode. He knows he has to step in and do it fast. These early churches weren't giant buildings, they were small groups meeting in houses, which meant one bad actor could cause a total disaster. And the situation is serious. It's a mission-critical crisis. Traveling missionaries sent out by John to spread the gospel are being completely rejected by a crazy, powerful, and proud local leader. This letter is John's emergency plan, a spiritual challenge preserved for 2,000 years. It introduces us to a hero, a villain, and a role model, the guy we should all be trying to copy. To understand the insane power of faithful support, we have to meet the hero who lived it. Gaius, the hero of hospitality. The letter doesn't start with a complaint. It starts with an insane amount of praise for Gaius. John calls him the beloved Gaius, whom I love in truth. This isn't just a friendly hello, it's John setting up the entire challenge. Truth in action. John says his biggest joy, the thing that gets him more hyped than anything, is hearing that his spiritual children are walking in the truth. So, what does that even mean, to walk in the truth? For John, it wasn't just about believing the right things. It was about your life proving you believed them. Truth wasn't a list of facts, it was a path you walked, and Gaius was the gold standard. He was just a regular guy in the church, but his actions were having a world-changing impact. John praises him for one specific, absolutely critical thing: his hospitality. He writes, "Beloved, it is a faithful thing you do in all your efforts for the brothers, especially when they are strangers." In the 1st century Roman Empire, hospitality wasn't just inviting friends for dinner. It was the lifeblood of the Christian mission. There were almost no safe hotels, and the ones that existed were dangerous and corrupt. Traveling teachers depended 100% on local Christians for a place to sleep, for food, and for protection from a world that hated their message. These missionaries, John says, had gone out for the sake of the name, accepting nothing from the Gentiles. This was huge. They refused to take money from non-believers, so nobody could ever say they were just in it for cash. Their integrity was perfect, but this also made them incredibly vulnerable. Their entire mission, their ability to literally survive, depended on Christians like Gaius opening up their homes and their wallets. By taking care of these travelers, Gaius was doing way more than just giving someone a place to crash. John tells him that by supporting them, he becomes a fellow worker with the truth. Let that sink in for a second. It's like a pit crew for a race car driver. The driver gets all the glory, but without the team that fuels the car, changes the tires, and gets it ready, that car is never leaving the starting line. Gaius was the pit crew for the gospel. Your quiet act of support, a meal, a donation, an encouraging text, a word of thanks, doesn't just help the work, it makes you a partner in the work. You become a teammate with them and, ultimately, a teammate with God. Gaius's faithfulness in the small, practical stuff made him a direct partner in the biggest mission in history. Diotrephes, the villain of pride. But not everyone in this church was on the team. After praising Gaius for being an absolute legend of support, John slams on the brakes to introduce the villain of the story. I wrote to the church, John says, but Diotrephes, who loves to be first, will not welcome us. And there it is, the core of the problem, right in your face. While Gaius partners with the truth through selfless support, Diotrephes blocks the truth because of his selfish pride. His name, Diotrephes, means nourished by Zeus, which could mean he came from a big-shot family. But his past wasn't the problem. His ego was. The key phrase John uses is that he loves to have the preeminence. In the original Greek, that's one, powerful, and super rare word. It means he was addicted to being number one. He had a crazy obsession with the spotlight, a sickness that made him want control more than anything else. This wasn't just a bad personality, it was spiritual poison. Diotrephes' hunger for control was so massive that he saw the Apostle John and his missionaries not as teammates, but as competition for views and influence. This one seed of pride led to a chain reaction of destructive moves. First, he completely rejected John's authority. He decided his own leadership was more important than the last living apostles. Second, he started spreading malicious nonsense about us. He launched a smear campaign trying to destroy John's reputation just to protect his own spot. Third, and this is the most insane part, he weaponized hospitality. The exact same act of love that Gaius was praised for, Diotrephes refused to do. He wouldn't even give John's missionaries the time of day. But he didn't stop there. He went on the attack. John says he also stops those who want to do so and puts them out of the church. This is a guy so obsessed with his own power that he would excommunicate generous, faithful people, just so he wouldn't lose his iron grip on control. He is the ultimate one-man show leader, the ministry dictator willing to sacrifice God's mission for his own ego. Diotrephes is a terrifying, permanent warning of how one person's addiction to being first can poison an entire community. So you see this insane contrast. Gaius, who builds up the church with quiet humility and real support, and Diotrephes, who tears it all down with his loud ambition and obsession with control. It really makes you look in the mirror and ask, which one am I? I challenge you. What's one small practical way you can be a Gaius this week? Maybe it's sending that encouraging text to your pastor, finally signing up to volunteer, or setting up a monthly donation to support a mission you believe in. Let me know your ideas in the comments right now. We also go deeper on this stuff and build a massive community in our private group, The Open Table. And if this is helping you understand the Bible, please click that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's a small act of support that helps more people find this video. Demetrius, the ally with a good reputation. After exposing Diotrephes' toxic leadership, John knows he can't just leave Gaius alone to deal with this mess. He gives him a clear command: "Beloved, do not imitate what is evil, but what is good." And to show him exactly what good looks like, he points him to a third man, Demetrius. We don't know a ton about Demetrius, but what John says about him is incredibly powerful. Demetrius has received a good testimony from everyone, and from the truth itself, and we add our testimony, and you know that our testimony is true. Demetrius is the guy to copy, the one to follow. Why? Because his reputation for being a good dude was undeniable, and it came from 3 different places. First, his good reputation came from everyone. The people who saw him every day, in public and private, all said he was awesome. He wasn't a different person at church than he was at home. He was the real deal 24/7. Second, His reputation came from the truth itself. What does that mean? It means his life was the evidence. His actions proved what he believed. The Gospel's claims about changing your life were literally visible in him. His life didn't just match the truth, it advertised the truth. Finally, he had a good testimony from the Apostle John and his team. The most legit spiritual leaders saw his character and gave him a 10-10 rating. Demetrius is the ultimate teammate. He's the kind of person whose life makes the entire mission look credible and amazing. John is basically telling Gaius, don't follow the destructive, selfish path of Diotrephes. Instead, copy the faithful support of Gaius and the rock-solid character of Demetrius. Your role in the story. So, at the end of this tiny, dramatic letter, we're left with 3 men, 3 choices, and 3 completely different legacies. Gaius, the hero of hospitality, teaches us that you don't need to be famous to have a purpose. Your quiet, practical, and faithful support can literally save the entire mission and makes you a partner in God's work forever. Diotrephes, the villain of pride, is a permanent warning against the spiritual poison of loving to be first. He shows us how a hunger for personal fame becomes a destructive force that blocks the gospel, hurts people, and divides the church. And Demetrius, the ally of integrity, reminds us of the insane power of a life so consistent that your character becomes undeniable proof of the truth you believe. This ancient letter, written to one guy in a specific crisis, is a mirror for us today. In our churches, our jobs, and our families, we face the exact same choice every single day. Will we use our actions, our money, our time, and our influence to support God's work in the world? Will we be a Gaius, creating space for the truth to succeed through our generosity? Will we try to be a Demetrius, whose character is so solid that it gives credibility to our faith? Or will we, even in small ways, fall into the trap of Diotrephes, putting our own ego, our own control, or our own comfort ahead of the greater mission? The power of faithful support, the way Gaius lived it, transforms us from viewers into fellow workers with the truth. It's an insane challenge to find our joy not in being first, but in seeing God's work and the people He uses succeed because of our support. If this video helped you understand the powerful message of 3 John, click that subscribe button for more videos that explain the Bible in a clear and practical way. For deeper challenges and community, you should join us over at the Open Table. Thanks for watching, and remember that every small act of faithful support has a massive impact.